There are many who feel that it's blasphemy to call him anything other than the Son of God, and so we will. But we will not call Jesus the Son of God in any other context than that we put you in the same category.
Do you say that I am? And the spokesman called Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
What I am is an infinite field of consciousness through which the Father, who is but love, would extend itself. What needs to happen so I am free from thinking I'm anything but that?
Why Jesus came if we always was and always will be.
Same reason you did. Same reason you all do. In other words, no one comes. Could possibly be the reason that anyone would come other than that you are eternal beings and you've come for the creative experience?
So are you saying Christ came for the experience as well?
Of course. Of course, there are no exceptions.
It just seemed a sort of a dramatic way to help us out.
Well, it hasn't been that helpful, actually. More people die over the things that surround Christianity than all other things put together.
Correct.
So, we know what you mean. Well, what do you mean? The helping out part.
Well, what I mean is, if we will always exist, why the intervention?
Well, first of all, there never is any intervention. Intervention sounds like assertion, and there is no assertion. There's only attraction. So what happens is you're taking a historical figure who has rightly earned the place of a religious figure. There are many who feel that it's blasphemy to call him anything other than the Son of God, and so we will. But we will not call Jesus the Son of God in any other context than that we put you in the same category. In other words, everyone who comes forth is an extension of source energy. And everyone comes forth to explore the contrast and to become. And his story is not different. In other words, he came like all, did his part of banging around, put all kinds of things into his vortex, even though he wasn't calling it that in those days, separated himself from the trauma and the struggle, came into alignment with who he had become, and then stood in that vibration of greater knowing that he had carved out of this life experience, and then told the story of that. And others who were witnessing hardly anybody ever coming into alignment with who they are, then pronounced him unique and marvelous and king and God and saint and Son of God, when what he was just a regular guy tuning into who he was and teaching through the clarity of his example that everyone else could do the same thing. And he said that every day that people would listen to him. That's the story that he told. He said, I am not that which you are not. He said, it's your faith that makes you whole. He said, come into the vortex, come into the light. He said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. In other words, everything that he said was about, I am an eternal being and so are you. And maybe there was some of, and I will show you the way. But not one time ever, and it's a distortion if you're hearing it today, did he ever say or mean to imply, I will come forth and do for you what I see you cannot do for yourself. Because it defies all laws of the universe, and it cannot be. And then humans take the part of his story when he was the most out of the vortex, when he was saying, why have you forsaken me? And that's the part of his life story that they dramatize the most. It is the last part that he wants you to remember. He would like you to remember when he was in alignment. He would like you to remember when he was in vibrational alignment with well-being and could hold you as his object of attention. And even though your body was dripping illness, he did not see it. And so wellness was the only thing that you could experience when you were in the presence of his aligned state of being. That's the part he would like you to talk about, you see. He would like you to remember that you are born as liquid love, that you are pure positive energy, and that when you hold yourself in an attitude of hate, you separate yourself from all that is good and all that you want. That's the part that he would like you to remember, you see. He does not want you to remember the day he was out of the vortex and they hammered him up. Nor does he want you to push against that. Nor does he want you to make those your enemy. Nor does he want you to stand in martyrdom against others and make anyone your enemy, you see.
Hear the word God, the word Jehovah, the word Lord, the word Jesus, the word Christ, and you think of something other than yourself. One that is greater, one that you would worship. Tonight it is my purpose to show you that God and the I of man are one. When you say I am, that is the God of Scripture. Confined as you are, you think, how could it be? God created the universe and sustains it. And here I am, like a little worm, 70 years, and then I vanish. But now let us turn to Scripture. We turn now to the 16th chapter of Matthew. And the question is asked of the disciples, the followers, those who have heard him. And he said to them, who do men say that the Son of Man is? And they reply, well, some say John the Baptist, come again. Others, Elijah. Others, Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. And then he said to them, but who do you say that I am? And the spokesman called Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And he said to him, blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood could not have told you this, but my Father who is in heaven. So here he equates the Son of Man with the eye of man, not the organ that sees or through which you see, but your sense of awareness that I am this. When you are aware of being, your consciousness, your human imagination. So he equates the two. The Son of Man spoken of in the Old Testament and brought forward into the New is nothing more than the I of man. And he calls it the Christ and defines Christ as the Son of God. Now we find Christ being defined in the New Testament as the power of God and the wisdom of God. So the eye of man is the power of God and the wisdom of God. If man does not know it, well, then he will not exercise that power. He will not exercise that wisdom. So tonight I am trying to persuade you that when you say I, before you say anything, that is the power and the wisdom of God. You can't separate the power of God and the wisdom of God from God. So you will say in the end, I and my Father are one, for he is called the Son of God. Now we are called upon to test this, if it be true. Can we test it? I hope you'll put it to the test. when I tell you that your own wonderful I amness is God. Though prior to that, you believe that you are little something, moving across the earth for a few years, 70 years, and then you will vanish, in the hope of some restoration, but a hope, no assurance. But now I'm going to tell you that you really are God. Your own wonderful consciousness, your human imagination, that is the God of Scripture. And there is no other God. Imprisoned as you are in these bodies of flesh, you did it for a purpose. Now let us see what it tells us about this Son of Man that is now equated with the I of man. No one has ever ascended into heaven but he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man.
To be the extension of the Father's love. If you don't like the word Father for whatever reason, use the Mother. Or use unified field, whatever word you want to use that refers to the infinite source of all being, beyond all comprehension. That all dimensions of creation have exactly the same purpose, to be the extension of love. Pure and simple. For that is what creation is. When a flower comes out of a seed by some bizarre mystery, you're literally watching the purpose of creation right in front of your eyes. It's to be the extension of love. For creation to extend itself, by definition, it must come into some form. An idea is a form. A vision is a form. An action is a form. Everything that comes into being and can be noticed is something that's come into form. The purpose of all form and the purpose of creation is to extend love. And then, listen to what he says is, then to extend that love from that world or dimension. So the dimension is really intended to arise and realize itself that it only has the purpose of love. Then from within that dimension or world, the process of creation or creativity is to discover how to extend it from that world. So right now, where are you? You're in this world. Hanging out in a realm that includes what we call bodies in space, trees, plants, all the rest. This is the world you're in. This is the dimension that you're in. This world, this dimension, has the same purpose as the Christ Council's level and all the angelic realms and everything else. The purpose isn't any different. It's to extend love. It's to realize that it only has one purpose. Now, if you come from a little bit from A Course in Miracles background, there he talks about that space and time. He mentions that in this work too, that the atonement is the process in which mankind will evolve into realizing that we all share one purpose. Minds that share one purpose are joined, and all other purposes is faded away. What would the atonement be? Imagine a planet where all beings know that their purpose is the extension of love. That's what the journey of the atonement is about, is helping all beings heal from the mistaken belief that they're guilty, there's something to be afraid of, that they have their own plans and purposes, that the essence of all beings is the same, because we've come from one source. Our only purpose is to realize that we are the extension of love and then creatively leap into the process of discovering how we can extend our love from this world. Because everybody has one treasure. My treasure is, or your treasure is your reality as the unlimited, holy, and only begotten child of God. You are that sunbeam to the sun. You are pure spirit. You are the extension of love. You are that. That's your treasure. That's it. You are a field of consciousness through which the Father would extend himself. So as you're walking down the street, go, whoa, I'm a field of the mystery of consciousness through which the Father, which is but love, would extend itself. That's it. And yet that's it. That's all you are, and that is a mind-blowing mystery. I'm not my parents' child. I'm not the chatter in the head that's worrying about whether I'll ever find my soulmate. I'm not this. I'm not all that stuff is not me. What I am is an infinite field of consciousness through which the Father, who is but love, would extend itself. What needs to happen so I am free from thinking I'm anything but that? This is why he said that your journey is not to seek for love because that is what you are, but it is necessary to seek out the obstacles you have built against it. The greatest joy will be discovered as you do something. What is it you need to do? You cultivate within yourself the habits of mind, the habits of body, the habits of choice that begin to align what you think, what you see, and what you do with the truth that is true always. You come into harmony and oneness with the will of God. That would be one way of saying it.